Alright, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm live. I'm gonna see if I'm at my channel from my phone. Okay, we are live. Okay, that's good. Anyways, today we're gonna be modeling the TARDIS. I have a model, not model, it's a character options second Doctor TARDIS here. Now I also do have the yeah, I have this picture here. It's of the first Doctor TARDIS, and the second Doctor TARDIS was a modified first Doctor TARDIS, just with a few differences. Like the roof was a little different, but besides that, it's pretty much the same release box. I'm also okay. Anyways, I'm gonna just move this back a little bit. Now we just gotta line this up. There, that looks about right. Anyways, so let's. I like having just sort of a little square. Anyways, so let's see here. So, first part of the TARDIS is done. Anyways, let's get to work on this part. So, as you can see here, it's sort of a square and then a bunch of cylinders. So what we're going to do, hold on, okay, we'll just get a cylinder. There. Hold on, so you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna do a simplified version. We're just gonna. Right now, we just gotta scale it down to the correct size. There. There. So now, mirror modifier from this plane on the X and Y coordinates, so that we have 3 of them. And we'll just bring this upwards. Actually, no, hold on. As you can see, there is a smaller version, a smaller little column that would go right about here. Alright, now we can apply that. Alright, so now we're gonna do the roof. And see. There. Now, this part is really easy. You just we'll do the lamp as a separate piece. So, I'm also going to bring this down. I just want this to be a very subtle sort of thing. Alright, there. So now, we'll make the place box. And there's actually something that I'm going to do for the texturing later on. It's pretty cool. It's something I just recently learned of, but it's very useful, especially when building a police car in 1963. Okay. Boom. Main shape. Okay. Yeah. I also want to make sure there's no gap between this. As you can see, it actually goes slightly into that part. Anyways, we're not actually going to do anything with that yet, because I'll texture it and then I'll do turn on the other side. For now, though, we're going to build the doors. Build the doors, what I do. I just sort of do. I don't like having a gap, because it, like when I'm lighting up the doors, which I will be doing with this one, you just sort of get a whole bunch of light coming through, and it just doesn't look right. So I'm gonna try to have as little of a gap between all of these sections as possible. Boom. So now, I used to eyeball this and that until just like I realized it should probably go to where the edge of the other door is, or at least somewhat close to that, sort of like that. You see? Oh, gap. Okay, well we can easily fix that this way. And we're just gonna be nice and subtle. Boom. Right. So how does one build a police? Well, first of all, you cut it in half. For this one, I think I'm actually going to have an actual door that can open. This one, though, it's weird. Like back in the 60s, what I've seen, only this, this door actually opened. Like, they never opened the door with the please referred public use sign. They didn't use that side. They didn't use that door. It's really weird. So now, we're just gonna do this. Now, we have 3 faces. And I like to match up the sides as best as I can first, and then alright, boom. Now we just gotta do that a whole lot more times. It also doesn't matter if it's perfect because, I mean, do you really think the BBC was trying to make the police box look perfect in 1963? Probably not, because they didn't even make the Daleks look perfect. I'm pretty sure some of the sides were asymmetrical, which is weird. But I mean, hey, I'm not Terry Nation. I don't think Terry Nation designed them. He just kind of came up with the idea of the Daleks. But whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll just put those sides, and now we'll just grab it and boom, place box doors. Look at that. So now at this point, what I would do, going to do, I don't normally do this because this is the first TARDIS that will actually have like doors that will actually go. I don't know why I didn't just like that entire thing. Anyways, we're just going to. Actually, now thinking about it. Now I'm just gonna that little row. There. Flush with each other. And fill in the doors. You really don't have to do this. I'm just doing this because this door is actually going to be able to be opened later on. And this is sort of when it gets weird and complicated, but whatever. What I'm just going to be doing is I'm just going to sort of match the patterns as you know, the front, and then just replicating them. Please box doors. So at this point, you could probably, if you wanted to, you could easily, you could very easily duplicate this, but it needs windows. So that's what we're going to do. why did I do that? I don't know. Anyways, so now we have that. We also now have that. Also going to do that just so that we have sort of like this. Also just gonna bring this up. There's a there. And then later, when we reattach the window frame, well, I guess the windows too, we'll fix that. Alright. Now we're just gonna do the exact same thing we did with the panels. Doors. These lines up with those lines. And soon we'll have a nice looking ice box. And we'll be able to go fly through time and space. Though it probably won't be bigger on the inside because, unfortunately, non-Euclidean geometry does not exist in Blender. Well, it probably does, but I don't know how to do it. Well, just remember, if you do want it to be, like, exactly perfect, you could always grab these two at 0 and just make sure all of these are nice and even. I'm not gonna do that because I don't need this to look perfect. It just doesn't need to look perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's a somewhat cheaply made prop from the 60s. Doesn't even really look like the original police officers that it was based on. Alright, anyways, so now that we have those, what we're going to do is that, but more subtle deal with that, obviously. And now, so, now we have the doors. Well, technically walls, but and we're gonna put cursor, or set origin to 3D cursor. Because now, see, we now have three walls, and on 3 of those walls, we need to apply the modifier, aka the mirror. This one, so this one, I'm just going to So now, all I'm gonna do here is sort of fix up any holes that we may have here. There. And now we have a working door. Technically not, but whatever. And just going to get this, 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 connect those, and there. So now we have these three. This one. Oh yeah, we set the order of three. Okay, so now we can unhide everything. Now, this is just temporary, but woo, a working door. I also realize that there's still one thing missing. This little stripe that goes down the center of the TARDIS, which is the doors. There. We can control those and control them. Now, let's see. Looks like that. So now we have a decent looking TARDIS, at least from the front. When you look at the sides, it's missing a call box sign. Anyways, we're just gonna not pay attention to that right now, because currently our main objective is the lamp. Ooh. Alright, now we're gonna get a cylinder. The actual, well, the, not the actual. Church. Yep. Sorry, I'm just talking to my cat. She is doing stuff. Heard me out. No. Hey. Don't do that. Anyways, I'm back. So now that we have the basic geometry of the TARDIS kind of constructed, we can get to texturing it. Now, this also isn't gonna be texture-wise. Hold on. Church man, no, you can't go on my desk. No, no desk for church man. No. Anyways, we're gonna do this. First of all, we're gonna give it a blue texture. We'll also give this the blue texture. That's the blue texture. This the blue texture. This the blue texture. those, so that also now has the blue texture. Can you guess it? The blue texture. So now I believe everything here has the blue texture. Blue. Anyways, this is just a placeholder. Anyways, so now we'll make it top gold. Call box. And we'll go into the shader editor. And we'll use an image. Onto the base color. Open. Top. Boom. Please call box. Oh, yeah, hold on. We gotta sign it. Now that doesn't look right, and just because it doesn't. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna go back to view, because we want it to actually. I don't want any black on this, because we'll just go as far as we can. I also just realized I entirely incorrectly. Also, slightly upside down. But we'll fix that. Anyways. Please call box sign. Now that we actually have the texture, we'll just set the origin to the 3 cursor. So, okay. RZ 90. Control J. Because now we actually have the call box signs. Yay! Anyways, now I want this to glow. I want this to be able to glow, sort of like the new series. And I know it's not entirely accurate, so yeah. So we'll plug that into mission. And I'll just get a color ramp. I'm gonna go in cycles. Just want it to be nice and glowing. Just now, because now, as you can see, black parts and shiny, while the white parts are glowing. And that's perfect. Anyways, so now what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna set up a camera. Well, camera is launched to my view, sort of like this. I'll just off. So we have a nice thing. The sun. And that looks like some nice lighting. So, another thing is that the window frames, they're supposed to be white. let's call this window. And can you guess what we're going to be coloring them? Wait, you're pulling that camera. What I meant to say was, and can you guess what we're going to be coloring? This color? The window. I just realized I forgot one because on the front it doesn't have that part of the window, but on the and it's weird. Anyway, now we can do it on this one. Your friends. Still not perfect. First of all, the blue color's a little too blue. I want to use that. There. Much more accurate. Anyways, so now we have that. It's not the best looking. Maybe because we forgot to add the actual window. We didn't actually add in the windows. And by that I mean we literally just... The windows aren't white. Well, they are white, but not the same white as the window frames. Or else it would have just called the window frame texture white. We're actually make this a transparent white or a gray. It is supposed to be a different color. Windows. Fine. Now, this time maybe like 5. See how does that look? Just make it a nice gray color. And also just remember that these parts of the windows should technically have a different color. Well, okay, not a different color, but it should have sort of a beveled looking and a frosted glass. Yeah. All this. Oh, one. Or one. That one. There. Might also will also be about the same amount of transparency. A little bit darker though. Now how do we make it look like pebbled glass look? Oh, we're gonna go into displacement and add a noise. Put that in. And as you can see, that just looks really weird. Up, I'll start to see it starting to look a bit better. Looking at my a version of this TARDIS. Well, not this TARDIS, a different version of this TARDIS. We'll just do a displacement. Plugged into the normal, it won't really do anything. So we're going to plug it into the height. And that just looks really weird, so we'll sort of scale it. Oops. Could turn the detail all the way up. I'm not, I'll just go for some sort of mid, like 2.4. There. And as you can see, it has this pebbled glass look, and it's looking real nice. I also just remembered, there's supposed to be a police call box right here, so we should probably do that. I'm trying to get this as close as I can to the thing. I'll just give this the window frames texture. And this will be pull to open sign, because that's what it says. It says pull to open. Right, so now we're going to do something very similar that we did with that. This one's not, actually, it might glow, I don't know. And, now I know that this is technically the wrong version of this texture. This is 2005 version, which just is way too, like, dirty looking. So, we're gonna have to fix that. Don't worry, we're also gonna do a little bit of tweaking. So, how do we make it not dirty looking? Well, we're just gonna go to a color ramp, and we're gonna sort of put that up. Maybe make it a little yellow, since it realistically, okay, no, you know what? They're not gonna make it yellowish because then it just wouldn't look right compared to this part. Anyways, technically you could stop there. Actually, no, you couldn't, because lamp. So we're actually going to be giving this a different texture compared to the glass, because that one, or that texture is just not transparent enough. We'll just call this lamp glass. There. Transmission is going to be all the way up. Roughness is going to be all the way down. Meaning that now we just sort of have a transparent thing. Not for long, because now comes the fun part, lighting everything up. This will be called lamp. a mission. Like 6. Okay. I now realize that this is not rough enough because we want it to sort of diffuse the lamp. Kind of like that. Also just make this sort of slightly yellowish colored. Something like that. Yeah. Right. So, now what I'm gonna do. Right, this is just a. You don't have to do this. This is technically even really accurate. I'm just doing it because it adds character to the TARDIS. And then you just look inside it, it's just an empty police box. Police box. There's a strange light on the top of it. That's funny. Anyways, I think what I'm actually going to do is. Windows 2. And for this, I'm actually just going to turn it down to maybe 0.1. Actually, no, it's not the roughness. Transmission. 0.8. We'll do it on both. Yeah, it's just sort of subtle. You just kind of like that, yeah. So make it a bit more of an orangey color. Yeah, I think we'll just go. Maybe a light blue. Nah, we'll go with the orange. Let's see. You can only really see it from certain angles. You can definitely see it from the front. Or you may also be saying, hey, the blue texture just seems too flat and smooth, so. Anyways, we're just gonna get it. I guess. No, it's because the original TARDISes, like the original police boxes, that were used in the classic series, they didn't have wood grain like the newer ones do. They just sort of had this. Oops, they just sort of had this like, texture from paint and stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing to this one. First we're going to get displacement. Bring that into the height. It was all silver. Anyways, we're just going to put the detail up. Or put the scale up. And you just want to be sort of just subtle, like 0.04. Yeah. Now we're just gonna move those over, and now we're gonna get the color ramp. Because you don't want it to be, like, everywhere. It just looks weird. So instead, we'll sort of do this. Yeah. Maybe even add a little bit of that. Yeah. Not a lot of detail, but enough. We also realize there's not really a lot over there. Also just turn that down a little bit, maybe something like that. And, hold on, I want to see what would happen if we used like a Musgrave. I don't really use a Musgrave texture. What would it look like? Oh, you know, that's actually much better. Better return. Okay, we're not using that. We're just gonna use a white noise. Yeah, we'll just use the noise texture. Still want some detail. There. Box. Compositing. This is just to final render. Final render look nice. Denoise, that'll really help. And now the result of the final render.